Well, hey, Menlo Students, live community, good to see you today. My name is Matt, and I'm here with you on the countdown clock. We are behind the scenes, and I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, we've got a live countdown clock for you. My name is Amy, and tonight's a special night. I'm pretty sure you all know. This weekend, it's the 4th of July.
4th of July.
We are celebrating America here tonight at Menlo Students Live.
All right, so here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to go behind the scenes. You got people getting ready right here. There's some other people getting ready over here. We're going to ask them some America trivia. So let's go. Let's go. Amy, you go find someone. I'm going to find someone. Let's see who we have here. David Stinnett. What's your name?
David Stinnett.
I just said that, didn't I? That's my fault. Sorry about that. So what are you doing tonight? What are you getting ready for?
Playing bass tonight.
All right, you got the bass guitar. I see it. Now here's the deal. It's America night. I'm going to ask you some America questions. Here's my America question for you. What's the capital of Florida, where I'm from?
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, you're right. It's Tallahassee. Okay. Here's the next one. I'm just going to stick with capitals. What's the capital of, you're not going to know this, Montana?
I have no clue.
I don't know either, so we're all in the same boat. Does anyone know the capital of Montana? You don't know where Montana is. No one knows the capital of Montana. Let's see who Amy has over here. Let's go over to Amy.
Hey, thanks, Matt. We're down here with Zach and with Brett. What are you guys doing tonight?
Tonight at Menlo Students Live. Yeah.
Nice. How you feeling? Are you nervous?
I mean, a little nervous.
I'm more nervous about this question.
Yeah,
Oh,
what
yeah.
are
We
you
should
gonna
definitely
ask
be
us?
nervous about this
capitals.
trivia question.
Dang.
Because we're changing it completely. There's no
Oh.
capitals. I
Yeah,
want to know,
good.
can one of you tell me, maybe y'all know in the audience, how long is the Statue of Liberty's nose?
Oh,
What?
gosh.
What?
Maybe?
37
Comment
feet.
in the chat. if you
Everyone
know.
knows
37
this.
feet.
Take a guess.
At least as tall as I am.
37
which is
feet.
Obviously,
That's our prediction.
37 feet,
7 feet.
7 feet. Well, Zach's a lot closer. The answer is actually 4 feet, 6 inches.
Ooh.
Wow.
Can we remeasure that?
Now
I'm
you know.
not convinced.
America fact.
All right. Okay. Would not have expected.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have another question for him?
Sure. I'll ask another question.
All right, let's see it.
Brett,
Yes.
how many hot dogs, roughly, would you say Americans consume on the 4th of July?
Sick.
On the like as a whole,
Yeah.
I would say let's go with 170,000.
What?
Oh, you got to go so much higher.
Yeah.
The answer is
Come
over
on.
150 million
Oh,
hot dogs.
Come
That's
on,
so
Brett.
disgusting.
Again, I was way
hey,
off.
bonus question.
So bad at math.
We almost got to go. Bonus question. What are hot dogs made of?
We don't know.
No one knows.
Nobody
but
wants to know.
We are
don't
so
know.
glad you're here. Enjoy the service. We'll see you later.
What is
What's
up,
Menlo
everybody?
Students? Oh my gosh, Brett. You know what this means, right?
It's America night.
It's American Night here at Menlo Students Live. My name is Zach, and this is Brett. We are so excited you're here.
This is the best beginning I have ever seen.
I mean-
like we just peaked.
I
But
feel like I just won the NBA
This
championship.
is awesome. Hey, you know,
Oh.
this weekend is 4th of July weekend, so we figured, hey, let's have America Night here at Menlo Students, and we have some awesome things in store for you tonight. We're going to have some worship a little bit later. One thing that I'm super excited about is we're continuing our series called Seasons, and our very own Sam Littlefield is speaking to you for the
Yeah.
first time at Menlo Students Live. We are pumped for that. Zach, what else we got going on?
Well, Brett, it's American Night, and there's nothing more American than a dunk tank. And
Let's
if
go.
you've been following us on Instagram, we had a poll for you earlier in the week where you got to pick some Menlo staff members that will be getting in the dunk tank. And tonight we have 2 finalists. We have Matt and Lauren. And what we need from you is you will get to pick who's in the dunk tank. So here's how it works. You're gonna tell us in the chat. You're gonna vote for Matt or Lauren. Whoever has the most votes will be in the dunk tank in just a couple minutes.
Who would you be voting for?
Oh, probably Lauren. Probably.
Yeah, I know she did claim that there's no way that she is going in the tank tonight. So, not gonna say you should vote for her,
Do with that what you will.
but whatever. But Zach, you know what else is so American?
What?
America's favorite pastime, baseball.
Oh
It
my
is
gosh.
back.
Bro, you're so right. Players report today. I'm so excited. I'm a Texas Rangers fan. Who are you a fan of, Brett?
Milwaukee Brewers, hands down. This is our year.
Let
Maybe
us
not.
know in the chat who your
I
favorite baseball team is, because it's probably the.
I wanna hear it.
Probably the Giants, right?
Probably the Giants. There's
I
a
mean,
good chance that that's it.
But Brett, there's, it's American night, and I would also say there's nothing more American
What's
than
that?
The Office. Right? It's America's favorite TV show?
Yeah, I gotta disagree with that. I've been doing a lot of shelter-in-place Netflix watching, and I gotta go with my boy Ron Swanson in the Parks and Rec. Nothing more American than Parks and Rec.
That's such a good point.
There is one more thing that I'd say there's nothing more American.
Yeah,
and
what's
I think
that?
this one might be legit.
Okay.
Fireworks.
Oh my gosh. You're so right, Brett. But what's more American than that?
What's that?
A fireworks fail video.
Let's go.
Let's check it out. We got that for you right now. Let's see it. All right, so we got some fireworks going.
Warming us up.
All right, here we go. Ooh, someone
gonna
set
happen?
something on fire.
Mistakes have been made. Not a good
Oh my gosh.
sound.
I was not
Okay.
expecting that.
Yeah. Nope.
Wow. Another
That
one.
was a party.
Wow.
All right. Let's see. That was a
Man,
good one.
that's some intense fireworks. All right.
I bet you
okay.
that guy just said, "Watch this." What's
Oh
gonna?
my gosh. Oh, that was it. What? Okay.
Oh. Okay. Ladies
Did
and gentlemen,
not
this is why
expect
we
that.
don't allow fireworks in California.
Yep.
He's running. This isn't going to be good.
Oh.
Oh! Do you think that could
man.
still hold some trash?
That was wild,
That
Brett.
was something.
But listen, Brett, firework fail videos are great.
That's
but there's
true.
nothing more American than a hot dog eating
You
contest.
couldn't be more right, Zach.
Oh
and
my
here
gosh.
we are. We got the hot dog here. Let's go right here at this table. We got a hot dog contest. Zach, what's going down?
Well, listen, Brett, here's how this is going to work. We got a couple students here from Menlo Students. We got Brady from Saratoga, Mary from San Jose, and John from Mountain View. And here's how it's going to work. They each got 3 hot dogs in front of them, and the first one to finish all 3 hot dogs is the winner. And Brett, what do they win?
Well, Zach, I am so glad you asked, because the person who becomes the Menlo Students Joey Chestnut of 2020 is going to win an America Prize pack.
Whoa.
Plus, they will have the option to pie either one of us in the face
Like
right
us?
afterwards.
Like
me
one
or
of
you.
us?
Me or you. They get to pick which one. It's
Oh.
going to be you, but
right.
either one.
Oh.
So just
Thanks,
going to
Brett.
throw that out there. So that's what you guys are playing for.
Okay, all right. You guys ready to go? Let's do it. Ready, set, go.
Type in the chat who you think is going to
Oh my
win.
gosh.
John,
Mary is attacking
He started
that.
with that big bite. I
She's
don't know.
just going
That-
all the way in.
That's
Brady.
a daring beginning. Brady, I will tell you, Brady was running and working out right before this to work up the hunger, and
Yeah.
I see it's paying off for him right now.
Oh my
Then we have
gosh.
Mary going for the hot dogs pre-worship.
Don't forget, you've got water right there for you in case you need it.
Okay, let's go. Let's see.
Mary
Let's see.
says she doesn't need it.
All right.
You probably
Anybody needs
will.
some ketchup? We got
You
some ketchup
probably
and
will.
mustard if anybody wants some. Yes, I see some nodding of the heads. I
Sorry,
mean,
we don't got it.
okay, we don't. But we do have water. Go for the water. Let's see. How's it going? Audience, I know they can't see you. Who do you guys think are going to win? Type in the chat. Brady, Mary, John, who's it going to be? Brady, we got some votes for Brady. We got Brady fans here.
All right, it looks like Mary just finished her first hot dog. Way to go,
Getting
Mary.
close.
Got to get it all the way down.
So I'm
All
gonna
the way down.
give you guys a little bit of a hot dog eating secret.
Oh,
you
yeah?
have that bottle of water right there. If you dump it on your plate, it might soak up the bun and make it easier.
Oh,
Just
a
saying.
thought. Just a thought.
One person who loves hot dogs to another.
Wait, Brett? Do you do that when you normally eat hot dogs?
I mean,
You
I'm not gonna
pour
tell you
water
that's
on it?
exactly what I do. But
Like you don't want ketchup
sometimes
or
you
mustard
gotta
or
do.
relish.
Yeah.
You put water
Put
on
water on it. Sometimes it's a Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay.
It gives a little spice, a little flavor.
it. All right.
But
That's a weird
okay,
move,
let's go
but-
back to the competition. How's this
Okay.
going?
Man.
I think Mary's in the lead
Mary
right
is
now.
crushing it right now.
Ooh, we have Brady's going a new style. He's going for
Oh,
the hot dog
he's
itself
going
and
hot dog by
then
itself.
the bun.
Man,
That's a
that's
bold
a very
strategy,
unique
Cotton.
take.
Let's see how it works out.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see this. Okay.
All right, John's chugging some water.
for the water.
It
Going
makes
for the
sense.
water.
It makes sense. Mary,
Mary,
how
well
you
done.
doing?
I like what you did
You
there.
feel good? Yeah, just thumbs up. I love it. I get
Okay.
it. Makes sense.
People in chat, keep telling us who's going to win. You could also keep voting on who do you think should
You
get
got to
dunked.
get it all the way down,
we need
Mary.
to know who needs
Just
to get
keep-
dunked
just keep
tonight.
chewing. Don't
Oh.
choke.
Yeah,
That would
don't
be
choke,
good.
please. There is a trash can behind the table.
Yeah. Is there?
Just to throw out your
there
trash
is,
later.
yeah.
You got this. You
You're
got
good, you're
this.
good, you're
They
good.
are never going to eat a hot dog
Slow
again.
and steady like a turtle.
So I know you guys are doing this right now. You're putting a lot of work into this. I do want to let you know that San Jose legend Joey Chestnut,
He's from San Jose.
he lives in San Jose.
Huh.
I believe he ate something like 74 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
10 minutes. So I think you guys could do that eventually, but we'll see. This is training right now.
Might need to train a little bit more to get there. But
You're
Mary,
good. Mary's almost
is
there.
Almost
we got,
there.
John has one left. Brady has just some buns left.
Yeah.
I guess a little bit of the hot dog. Mary, you got this. You got this. Finish strong.
You're almost there. You're
almost there.
Oh my gosh,
Oh.
Brett. This is pretty intense.
You guys at home, I want to hear you cheering for them. We want you to be cheering so loudly that we
Yes,
can hear you
some
here
hype.
in Menlo Park. Because this is exciting.
I
Coming
can
down
hear
to
him
the
a
wire.
little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I
maybe
hear
need to
something.
yell a little
Yeah.
louder, but
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
also the winner.
Oh,
she's got the last.
Oh,
She's got the last minute. You got to
you
finish
got
it.
this. You got this, Mary.
This is all you, Mary.
Uh-oh.
You're
John,
almost done.
let's go. Let's go.
Slowly.
You got it.
This is so intense.
Let's go.
She's almost done.
Is
She's
it?
almost done. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's
San Jose represent.
Mary wins!
It's done. Let's see the time. Oh my gosh, Mary did it. Way to go, Mary. Come on over here. Yes, take some water. Take some water. Please don't throw up. That would be really, really gross. So first, here's your medal.
Wow.
Yes, congratulations. This is yours too. And Mary, I have a question. Who do you want to pie in the face?
Definitely you.
Oh, me? Oh.
Yeah, Mary,
Okay.
great
All right,
choice.
all right, come over.
Really
come over
great
here. Come over
choice
here.
right now.
All right, okay. I am not prepared for this. I'm gonna backwards hats it, you know? Okay. Are you ready? I'm not ready. No. All right, let's do it.
Oh!
It tastes so good. I don't know where my mic is. All right,
right,
Menlo
guys, we
students.
are
I just took a
here
step in that. Listen,
dunk
I'm
tank.
so excited because we
Right
have the
now,
winner of
we
the
have
dunk tank
our person
contest.
who is the person getting dunked.
Let's go
and
out
you
to Brett.
voted. And it is our main man, Matt Lewis. Matt, how's it feeling right now in that water? Is it? Yeah, we tried to heat it up for you, but I guess it didn't work. So, Lauren, since you are free, we're gonna have you throw. So let's line up a little bit right over here. And so let's see that first shot. You wanna hit the red button. We'll see about that. Oh, that was close. But Lauren, nobody's perfect. So Menlo Church, you can try this again. You hit that. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more and then we'll give you a little hand. So let's see. Oh, so close. Give him a hand there. Help out. There you have it.
It's so cold. I'm mad at all of you.
But hey, this is first shower of the week, right?
Domo.
We're good. Hey, that is awesome. Thank you guys so much for participating. I'm going to throw it back to Zach in the studio.
All right, Menlo students. First off, how are we doing, guys? All right, here we go. All right, we're getting there. All right, here we go. Menlo students. First off, I just have it all up in my eyes because America Night is going off tonight. It's so much fun. Tell us in the chat what you think of America Night so far. And listen, Menlo Students Live is doing it big. And the reason we're doing it big is because we're trying to spread hope this summer. And one of the ways we're going to do that is through a hygiene kit drive. And to tell us more about that, we have Mary from Mountain View, and she's gonna tell us a little bit more about that.
Hey guys, I'm Mary. I don't know about you, but I take a lot for granted. I got to brush my teeth this morning, got to take a shower. Not everybody gets that luxury. So this July, we're gonna be packing hygiene kits. We're gonna have gallon Ziploc bags and we're putting toothbrushes, toothpaste in those, some deodorant, things that make you feel fresh, feel clean, and give you a little bit of dignity. That feeling that you're a person who is ready for the world. And so we're going to be collecting those, more information to come, and we're going to be giving them to our partners who will be distributing them to people who might not have regular access to bathrooms in homes. And in that way, we're blessing our community. We're helping those who don't have everything we have, and we're partnering with Jesus in his work in the world.
Well, Menlo Church, welcome to Wednesday night worship. We are so glad you guys are here. We want to invite you guys to worship in whatever way you feel comfortable with the comfort of your own homes. We are so excited you guys are here. Matthew 19:26 says, with man it is impossible, but with God all things are possible. And that's because he does great things. We want to sing about that tonight, so come join us in song. Worship our King. Come, let us bow at his feet. He has done great things. See what our Savior has done. See how his love overcomes. He has done great things. Yeah, he has done great things. Of heaven, you conquered the grave. You free every captive, break every chain. Oh God, you have done great things. Be dancing your freedom, awaken the light. Oh Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high. Oh God, you have done great things. Every storm, you'll be faithful forevermore. You have done great things, and I know you will do it again. For your promise is yes and amen. You will do great things. Yes, you will. God, you do great things. Of heaven, you conquered the grave. You free every captive and break every chain. Oh God, you have done great things. We dance in your freedom, awaken the light. Oh Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high. Oh God, you have done great. Above it all, hallelujah, God, unshakable, hallelujah, you've done great things, hallelujah, hallelujah, God, above it all, hallelujah, God, unshakable, hallelujah, you've done great things. Of heaven, you conquered the grave. You freed every captive, you break every chain. Oh God, you have done great things. We dance in your freedom, awaken the light. Oh Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high. Oh God, you have done great things. You have done great things. Oh God, you do great things. Lord, we just want to give this night to you and really hear what Sam has to say, Lord. We think that you are above every name and that we can trust anything we have in you. Amen.
Well, hey, y'all, I'm Sam, and I am so excited to be with y'all tonight. I actually just started working at Menlo a couple months ago. I moved here at the beginning of March, about 2 weeks before we went into shelter in place. And so, needless to say, it has been a crazy season of transition for me over the past couple of months. And so I was really excited to have the opportunity tonight to have a conversation with you about this season's series that we're in this summer. We're going to be looking at the life of Paul, and we're going to be actually reading through 2 letters that Paul wrote while he was in prison to the church, the book of Colossians and the book of Philippians. And so I'm excited to dive into that this summer. And a really cool thing, if you haven't had the opportunity yet already, you can follow along with us this summer through a daily devotional that we have. And if you haven't seen that yet, it's no worries. You can actually find it online at menlo.church/seasons. And that's just a really cool opportunity for us to dive in together, to talk through the different things and just process together. It's a great thing. Do it with your life group, do it with a friend. Let's just commit to doing it together this summer. But last week, we heard from Matt about the Apostle Paul, and he introduced us to his story. He shared about how Paul had an encounter with Jesus on the road to Damascus that changed everything for him. It was on this road and on the encounter with the road to Damascus that Paul all of a sudden went from one day persecuting Christians and he was out to get them to the next day he's proclaiming the goodness and the gospel and the glory of God. And so Paul's story is crazy, and I really want tonight for us to spend a little bit of time talking about what happened between the road to Damascus and the following years of Paul to when he ended up in prison. Because I think it gives us a lot of context and some good information and a little bit of insight into the words that he ended up writing in Colossians and Philippians. So we're going to be in the book of Acts tonight. We're going to share a little bit. We're going to read through a couple different things. But the first thing that I want you to be aware of, and this is really important for the big picture of who Paul is that Paul was a Roman citizen. And being a Roman citizen back in the day was a very big deal. It was kind of like the ultimate status symbol. People who were Roman citizens, if they weren't Roman citizens, they would actually pay money to become one. So people loved being Roman citizens. It was a really, really big deal. And Paul was naturally born one. So he was a Roman citizen. And because of that, he had a lot of privilege and status that was given to him just because of where he was born. And this is an interesting thing to think about in the context of our world right now. And to put it into a very cheesy, hypothetical situation, I want you to think for a minute with me that someone on, I don't know, maybe like TikTok or Instagram, that they have like 1 billion followers, okay? Just imagine they have 1 billion followers, but they didn't do anything to get those followers. They just like logged in, they signed up for the app, and all of a sudden they had all of these followers. Now they're real followers, no ghosting or anything like that, like legitimate followers, right? So they have all these followers and they have a status because of the followers that they have, but they didn't do anything to earn that. That would be a privilege that person had because it was just given to them and they didn't have to do anything. And so that's a little bit the context I want you to think through the lens of Paul, that he had this privilege that other people during that time didn't have simply because he was a Roman citizen. And what we're going to see in the story tonight and in the weeks to come is that Paul used his privilege as a Roman citizen in very, very calculated ways. And I'm excited to look into this a little bit with you. Okay, so Paul essentially gets thrown in prison. So road to Damascus happens a long while back. We fast forward in Acts chapter 23. And Paul's in prison. It's a few times that he's been in prison. And during this time, I would imagine he's feeling like a little discouraged. I don't know what it's like to be in prison, but I feel like being discouraged would be one of the things. And so in Acts 23:11, this crazy scene happens where the Lord appears to Paul. He shows up while Paul's in prison. He shows up, which really thinking about it might not be weird for Paul because he already had an encounter with him on the road to Damascus, but just to run with it, I think it would be still kind of strange being in prison and God just showing up. But what we see in Acts 23:11 is that God had a very specific message for Paul. God said, "Take courage, for as you have testified to the facts about me in Jerusalem, so you must also testify in Rome." In this moment, God gave Paul a clear picture of his purpose. God told Paul, okay, right now you are in prison, you are in Jerusalem in prison, but I'm gonna send you to Rome. You're going there. You're going to Rome at some point. We don't know when, but I want you to go to Rome. And so I would imagine for Paul, as he's sitting there in prison, that this is a big moment. And it actually, every time I read this story, it always reminds me of that part in The Lion King, you know, when Simba's like been off, he's like doing his thing, and you're like, come on, come back. Like you need to go back, save your family, life isn't good there. And then Mufasa appears to Simba. He appears to Simba and he tells him in a very, very like really awesome voice, which I can't even try to mimic, but he tells Simba, remember who you are. Remember who you are. In that moment, changed everything for Simba. That Simba then went on, he went back, saved Pride Rock, all the things the things we love about that story. But this is kind of a similar situation, a little different, very different. But I always think of that when I read this story, that it had to have, for Paul, felt a little crazy. That God's telling him, hey, this is what's gonna happen. You are headed to Rome. But I don't want you to miss this next part of the story because it's crazy. Paul is told by God that he is going to be sent to Rome, but that doesn't happen quickly. Paul actually, right after this, gets sent to a port city called Caesarea. Paul spends a couple of years in Caesarea just waiting, trying to see what will happen next. He's waiting in prison in Caesarea. And the strange thing about this, I can't imagine how discouraged Paul would have been had he not been reminded at the start of this that he was going to be going to Rome. I would imagine that if that voice, if that wasn't in the back of his head, he would have been so discouraged because he's in Caesarea. He's in the wrong spot. God said he's going to Rome, but he's in the wrong spot. But Paul remained steadfast in what God had for him. Even though he was in prison in Caesarea, it's during this time in prison and another time in prison that he writes multiple books that we now have in the Bible. He sent encouraging letters to different churches and encouraged fellow believers in this season, in a season where he could have just checked out and said, I guess I just gotta wait. He didn't do that. He chose to use that season and to let God work in him in the midst of that. So what happens in the book of Acts, this whole thing, honestly, y'all, is like a scene out of a Hollywood movie. Like I can't even begin to describe to you how crazy the next few things are. So he's in Jerusalem, God appears to him, tells him that he's going to Rome. He ends up getting sent to Caesarea. But on the way of getting sent to Caesarea, it's crazy. They had to secretively take him there because people caught wind that they were gonna move him and people really didn't like Paul and they wanted him killed. And so they were gonna ambush him on the way from Jerusalem to Caesarea. So they had to do it in secret. And there was this whole group of people that literally said, they were like, I'm not gonna eat until Paul is killed. But spoiler alert, they totally ate because Paul ended up making it safely to Caesarea. So really crazy. Again, I recommend reading it because it is fascinating. And if you followed along in the reading plan, you read some of it this week. So way to go. So Paul ends up in Caesarea. He's waiting for time to pass. And then this moment comes where he essentially is told by the ruler at the time that they want to send him back to Jerusalem. And Paul was not having this. Paul knew, because God told him, Paul knew that he was supposed to go to Rome. And so rather than going back to Jerusalem, which if geography is hard for you like it is for me, not the right way. Going back to where you came from is not getting Paul anywhere closer to where he needs to be in Rome. So Paul, in this moment, he chooses to use the privilege that he has as a Roman citizen to ask to be sent to Rome. And let me explain this a little bit. Because of the privilege that Paul had, because he was a Roman citizen, he could essentially say, I'm going to lay all my cards on the table and I am going to ask to be sent to the highest court. I'm going to be sent to the highest court and I'm going to be dealt with there. And so that's what Paul does. But the wild thing about this is that everyone who knew anything about Paul in this season knew that Paul's case and why he was even being held in prison was kind of a joke. It was sort of like a case of corrupt leaders where they were just passing him off from one person to the next. And he ended up staying there for a long while as a result of these corrupt leaders. So it wouldn't have made any sense for Paul to do this right now if he hadn't been told by the Lord that he needed to go to Rome. So Paul used this moment in time and he said, I'm going to appeal my case to Caesar. I'm going to go. I'm going to Caesar and because Rome, that's where I know that I am supposed to go. And then in Acts 26, this super interesting part happens where Paul says that he's going to go to Rome and they're kind of him-hoing and hawing back and forth about when they're going to send him. And he ends up interacting with a king that comes on the scene. His name's King Agrippa. King Agrippa shows up in Acts 26 and he starts, essentially Agrippa knew who Paul was and he wanted to hear Paul's story for himself. And so he has this moment with Paul where Paul could have chosen to pretty much defend himself. He could have said, King Agrippa, let me tell you how everything around here has not been going well. Let me tell you why I shouldn't be in prison. That is what Paul very easily could have done in that moment. But you guys, Paul didn't do that. Paul used this moment in time when he was in front of King Agrippa to share his testimony. It's in this moment that Paul was able to use his privilege to proclaim the glory of God. And I can't help but wonder what would have happened if Paul hadn't done that. If Paul had chosen to be more concerned with his own glory rather than the glory of God. If he had chosen that human flesh desire to tell them that they were wrong, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to proclaim God's glory and goodness through sharing his testimony. And so Paul goes through and he talks to King Agrippa. And I can't help but notice that I really think that part of the reason why Paul was so passionate about using his privilege to proclaim the glory of God is because of the example that he saw in Jesus. And in Philippians chapter 2, we'll be diving in the next couple of weeks in this chapter, but Philippians chapter 2, verse 8, it says that Jesus humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even death on a cross. And so if the creator of the universe could literally put aside his own privilege of being the creator and humble himself to become obedient to death, even death on a cross, I would imagine that Paul putting aside his privilege as a Roman citizen was a little bit easier for him. Paul's example was Jesus. And as the story goes on, and as I think of my own life, the question that I ask myself is, am I more focused on my own glory, or am I focused on God's glory? Am I more concerned about what people think of me, or am I more concerned about what God thinks of me? And I think that it's hard because, if we were sitting across the table having a conversation, it'd be a little different. But I just want you to imagine that we are, and I want you to know that I don't know where you fall tonight. I don't know if you're just kind of figuring this Jesus thing out, if you're just kind of exploring it, trying to figure out who Jesus is, or I don't know if you'd say that you're walking through life with Jesus. But what my encouragement and my challenge for us tonight is that we as a people, we need to make some choices. And one of the first choices that I think we need to make is that we need to identify our own privileges. And this has been a really hot topic lately with everything that's been happening around America with racism and the unrest that's been happening. And I want to acknowledge and say that as an educated white woman, I know that I have privileges. And you guys, even living in the area that we live in, we have so many privileges. There are those of us who are able to have tutors to help us with the really big, hard test that's coming up. There's many of us that have never had to worry about where our next meal is coming from. There are so many of us who get to spend our summers carefree because we don't have to help our family make ends meet. Because of the affluent area that we live in, we have so many privileges. And the result of this, and even talking through this and identifying the privileges that we have, it's not to make us feel guilty. It's not to make us feel like, oh man, well, I have these things and other people don't, so I just feel really guilty. That's not the response that should come. The response and the overflow from something like this should be a response and an overflow of empathy. That we're able to look at our neighbors, that we're able to look at people in our classes, and we're able to say, I know that your life is really different than mine. Help me understand. Have conversations with people. And I think that there are so many ways that we can move forward in this. And I want, as a community, maybe with your life group, as you talk through these things, I want you to identify some next steps for you. What are some next steps that you need to take in order to move this idea of privilege and everything that you have in order to help people around you? And a few things. I think of summer and free time that you have, that maybe you could spend time volunteering more. Or even the hygiene drive coming up, that we can spend time and fill up those packs and drop them off or volunteer at the drive. There are so many ways that we can identify the ways that we are privileged, and then that we can help people around us. And I just imagine what our world would look like if we had more of us that were aware of the things that we have been gifted with, the blessings that we have, and then if we were a people that chose to go out and serve those around us. Gosh, I want to live in that world. And y'all, I believe that we can help be that change. My friend Jess Connolly says that our lives should be about the glory of God and the good of others. I love that analogy, that our lives should be for the glory of God and the good of others. And so as we think of our lives, as we think of the privileges that we have, my prayer is that we would be people who identify our privileges and that we use our privileges for the good of others. And that we use the privileges that we have, just like Paul did, to bring glory to God. And y'all, I think if we do that together, man, talk about a way of being able to spread hope this summer. I'm going to pray for us. God, I thank you for your love and your care for us. I thank you for each one of us that are so blessed by the gifts that you have given us. And God, I pray that you would help us identify the privileges that we have. And God, would you give us next steps of what you have for us? Give us eyes to see the people around us. Give us eyes to see the people in our life group, and help us love one another in a deeper way. God, help us use our privileges for your glory and for the good of others. We love you. Amen.
As we continue into a time of worship, we want to encourage you guys to think about the ways that you have experienced privileges and how you can use that for God's glory. Because our hope for you this summer is that you would spread hope, that you would use the privilege that you have been given to bring God glory.
I know a breakthrough is coming and it won't stop now. And I think about that and think about Sam's message to us about viewing our lives as everything we do for the good and the glory of God. I can't help but think about what God could do in our lives this summer and in this season of life. There are great things coming. We can spread hope. We can live with the hope of Jesus, that he's going to work in us and through us. When we look at our own lives and say, hey, Jesus, take what I have and use it for your glory. And you guys are going to talk about that a little bit more tonight as you head off to life groups in just a little bit. But before we do that, Zach, what do we have going on?
Brett, listen, last Friday we had an awesome event called Verified, where we had our friends Alex and Melinda Griswold join us for just a fun Zoom call hang. And oh, by the way, they have 1.7 million followers on TikTok. So that was a lot of fun. And one of the things that we did is we offered anybody that came to enter into a drawing that we're about to do live right now. And they get to win a $50 Amazon gift card.
Here we go.
We're gonna do it live. And the winner is Matthew Leuenberger from Mountain View.
All right, Matthew from Mountain View. Let's go.
All right, there it is. All right,
That's
Brett.
it. Guys,
That's it.
Menlo Students Live, that's it. Head off to your life groups on Zoom. You can check out what your Zoom code is on the screen. And we can't wait to see you next week.
We'll see you later.
I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Content, hold your breath and feel the tension. Devils hide behind redemption. Honesty is a one-way gate to hell.